Sadakat Kadri is an English barrister and a human rights lawyer. He's also a very well-traveled writer. His latest book examines the cultures and conflicting concepts of justice that have shaped Islamic law. His new book is called Heaven on Earth, a journey through Sharia law from the deserts of ancient Arabia to the streets of the modern Muslim world. Sadakat Kadri, welcome to Legally Speaking.
Hi Marty, thanks very much for having me on.
So I understand you spent a total of 5 months on the road doing research for this book. I'm wondering, before you started, did you have a very clear sense of where you wanted to go, who you wanted to talk to, and what questions you wanted to ask, or was yours an itinerary that kind of evolved as it went along?
The itinerary definitely evolved. I mean, the whole book was actually a process of evolution. I'm a lawyer in the UK, but my field is human rights. I'm also a Muslim. I've been born a Muslim and regard myself as Muslim. But to be perfectly honest, when I started this book, I didn't have a clue what the Sharia involved. I mean, the reason I actually started writing it was because I mean, it's actually got a very unfortunate history. My last book was written in New York. I arrived there just before the September the 11th attacks happened. That book was on the history of Western jurisprudence, the trial of history from Socrates to O.J. Simpson, it's called. And even though everyone after September the 11th was talking about Islam, Islamic law, these kind of things, I maintained the focus for that book, obviously, on Western jurisprudence. But it was published in the UK in April 2005, and 3 months later in the UK we had what we call the 7/7 bombings, when 4 Muslim men blew themselves up and also killed more than 50 innocent people, and they claimed that God was their justification. My last book had just come out, and I started thinking to myself, well, what's this about? What is this Islamic law that they're talking about? And so that was the germ of the book. I started doing research. I got commissioned to write the book, and the first half of the book is historical. The first half of the book deals with 1400 years of Islamic history, because that's one thing that many people forget when they talk about the Sharia. People simply associate it with the most brutal manifestations of justice in Islam, in the Islamic world today, amputations and stonings and beheadings and these kind of things. But the Sharia actually has a very, very, very long history. It's as old as Islam itself, which dates back to the early 600s. And so I thought, if I'm going to write about this thing, I need to explain the history. And in order to explain this history, I needed to learn the history, because even though I'm born a Muslim, I didn't know the history myself.